welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. This channel is dedicated to my study abroad and travel experiences. And today I really wanted to talk about how I stayed involved in advocacy and volunteer work while abroad. I think that it's really important to give back to the community that you live in, whether it's just for a month, 6 months, or your whole life. And if you're taking resources and benefiting from resources in your community, then I think you should at least have a day throughout your study abroad experience where you try to give back to that community itself. So today I'm going to talk about just all the organizations I got involved in, all the little one-off opportunities I had, and we'll get right into it. Okay, so the first organization that I really got involved in was SCI. This stands for the Student Academic International Help Fund. That's the English translation. I'm not going to say the Norwegian one because my pronunciation's still a little iffy after 5 months of courses. But basically they're an organization in Norway and they work on educational advocacy work. So part of what SCI does on like the big level, on the national level in Norway, is they have funds to help people from countries where their education is being restricted or their rights are being restricted or they're in war. They have funds to help take them in and give them an education in Norway, which I think is really cool. Every year there's like a different campaign that the universities work on, the chapters within the universities work on. So this year we worked on eliminating fees for international students. In the last 2 years, Norway has instituted tuition fees for international students coming to complete their full degree here. So we were working on raising awareness about creating tax reform programs to fund educations for students, so that way we don't have to have those international fees in place, because it's still free for for Norwegian students to have their education here. And the reason why this is important is because so many people do seek refuge in Norway or come here for the quality of life. It's important that we're able to support that with a free education. And since they've been able to do it in the past, we should be able to do that going forward. So I got to participate in some tabling efforts with them and learned a lot about just how the Norwegian economic system works and education system works. And overall, it was a really good opportunity and I met a lot of really cool people. So that was kind of the first organization I was a part of. The next thing I did, some of you may know, I participate in an organization called Clemson Engineers for Developing Communities back home. And I really didn't want to give up my work with CEDC, even though I was abroad. So I decided to continue my work virtually. So I continued to serve as an assistant program management director. So I help coach project managers in their humanitarian project efforts. And this is a role that can really easily be done virtually. So I was really lucky to have that role coming into this semester. But I was able to coach 2 amazing projects, the Cleo Bailey project, working on a community center in Anderson, as well as the Engagement Hub project to link resources throughout the state of South Carolina for humanitarian and community resilience efforts. So really grateful I got to continue my work there and still participate in some work that I've done in South Carolina and in the States while I was abroad. And next semester I'll be serving as the Director of Outreach and Engagement for that organization. So very exciting there. I also took a sustainability course within my class schedule, and we did a lot of field trips, and one of the field trips that we took was to the municipality buildings in the city center, and we got to learn about something called the European Conference, which takes place in the city that I live in, Kristiansand, every year. And this year they were instituting the first annual youth forum to accompany the conference, and they told us, if you want to be involved, let us know. So me and my good friend Ikra, we were like, yes. I'm a big fan of saying yes to things. I thought we were coming in as like delegates. We ended up running the whole thing. I got to help moderate with the former EU Affairs Minister of Sweden. I got to moderate with the rector of the university that I'm at, Sunniva Whitaker and Cecilia Malmstrom. literally crazy. I got to meet people from all over, from Ukraine, from Hungary, obviously within Norway, from so many different organizations supporting educational rights, supporting democracy in media, and it was really, really, really cool, and I'm very grateful I got to do that. And I also just got to learn a lot about the efforts that they do here in Norway for sustainable development within that course as well. So I highly recommend taking courses if you're studying abroad that allow you to have field trips or allow you to get involved in other opportunities, because that was definitely one of the highlights of my whole abroad. And I'll be writing an article about that experience, so that should be published here pretty soon. I took another course called Environmental Humanities, and we looked at social and historical perspectives of environmental science. And so one of the days we got to go out and do a plastic cleanup on 2 of the southernmost islands in Norway. So we were able to do research on the kinds of plastic and trash and waste that we found, but we also helped clean the islands. So I'll have some pictures. And it was a really fun day, and it was really good to learn about the kinds of waste and be able to compare that back to my home country about what kinds of waste we produce, what kinds of waste we see. And we also got to help make those islands a little bit cleaner, which was awesome as well. Lastly, there is obviously a genocide taking place. I'm filming this June 2024. There's been a genocide taking place, quite frankly, for longer than October of 2023, but I'll say October of 2023 for now. And this is something that I feel very strongly about, obviously. And so I've done some advocacy work, as much as I can online. But there are protests happening in the city center, so starting next weekend, I will be joining those as well. Because I feel very strongly about the topic, and I feel like if you're silent about it, then you are complicit in genocide. So I will be trying to get more involved in some Palestinian efforts while I'm here as well, because I think it's important to uphold your values and your opinions on political issues and humanitarian issues, no matter where you are in the world, no matter how privileged your situation is, because my situation is extremely privileged right now to live in Norway, to live in one of the countries with the highest qualities of life, with the best healthcare, with the best education. If there's someone that needs to be speaking up, it is people that are in these kinds of positions that have this privilege and have this voice. So I will be going with some Norwegian friends. I was going to go yesterday, so I'm filming this on a Sunday, but the protests are in Norwegian, right? And my friend that I was going to go with, who speaks Norwegian, wasn't able to go, so I felt a little weird going by myself, so I decided to wait till the next weekend, which is so privileged, right? I'm just going to wait till next weekend to go protest when there's people being murdered, right? But nonetheless, I think advocacy work in this regard is very important. And so if there is something happening at a big event and you're studying abroad, I recommend taking action no matter where you are. This could be dangerous depending on the location. You know, if you're in Paris, protests are going to be a little bit different looking than they are here in a small Norwegian town, but regardless. Yeah, but that's kind of how I stayed involved in advocacy and volunteering and humanitarian work while I was here, just to give back in any little way that I could. And it's been very rewarding, and I'm really glad I got to do all these, take part in all these opportunities. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.